Alright, so we got the map started. Here we go. So we got a Mongolian map. And let's see how this game plays out for the AIs. Alright, so it looks like we already got some deer luring from the general. It's kind of early, I guess, hasn't found the boar yet. We got Valkyrie here, normal starts. We've got the 2K civilizations, got the Khmer for the general versus the Koreans for Valkyrie. This will be interesting to see how general handles the Khmer's strange civilization features. If I remember right, the general should try a night rush with the Khmer, but it could also go for a new crossbow rush that it does now. Yeah, so general's got the boar now. Let's look back at Valkyrie here again in the second boar, and it doesn't seem to be very focused at the moment. I'll eventually get that boar. How many tries is it going to take? At the very least, that villager's not going to get hurt. There we go. Yeah, it's hard to script for every single occasion. Alright, second lumber camp going up for the general. Got a farm down. And all of the hunts down, so they're done. So you got all the villagers on sheep. Looks like you're going to start sending the villagers to gather berries. We got a second mill. I think that's supposed to go for a deer, perhaps, but there should have been built right here, but it didn't. Oh well. Something I'll have to fix in my AI for later. And then back here, let's see, for Valkyrie is already going to feudal age with 24 villagers. Barracks is down. And from Valkyrie usually goes for a skirmisher rush. So hopefully General picks the night rush instead. That'll go a lot better than the crossbow rush. Alright, and the General's going up to feudal at 28 villagers. Actually, let's see. Alright, General is going for a night rush, so I'm happy to see that. Alright, Sable and Blacksmith put down, as you'd expect. And see, Valkyrie, how many skirmishers does he have right now? Just a couple. Gathering at the town center. And so if Valkyrie wants to be able to get General against the Night Rush, he's going to have to attack pretty soon here. Looks like the General is going up to Castle Age now. And Valkyrie has started the attack now. And General's placed a tower by the lumber camp, but it's not in the best position. That's something else I think I need to adjust. Alright, so let's see. Can this attack do enough damage before General can start training some knights? Yeah, so far no villager kills, but a lot of idle TC time. Gathering the villagers in the town center. So it looks like Valkyrie might have detected the night rush, just with the amount of stables. Alright, we got a single knight out here for the general. Alright, taking down the spearman. Yeah, single spearman doesn't do much against knights. Alright, Valkyrie is retreating back to his town. Got Fletching coming. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Let's see, is he adding skirmishers? Okay. Adding in archers, that's curious. I'm not sure exactly why that's the case. I'm gonna do some debugging here. Yeah, maybe, okay, I think I know what's going on. The general saw the spearman is going to add in some archers to kill the spearman. It looks like that's going to be an effective strategy, actually. Look at all those spearmen. So we got some archers coming out from the archery range. Alright, let's see how these archers do. We got Fletching on them already. Yeah, so right now Valkyrie's got the military and villager lead, but Valkyrie's still in the feudal age. Let's see if Valkyrie can do enough damage here. That tower's scaring them away, and they're not doing much at all right now. Husbandry coming for the general. Alright, so those archers aren't wanting to engage. Looks like the general's starting to attack now. Yeah, this is probably not the best decision for the general, because he's only attacking when he had 6 archers. That works when he has 6 knights, but 6 archers is not enough to start an attack. Not when he's outnumbered by 20 spearmen. Well, we got a second TC going down. Getting using that castle age advantage. Alright, crossbows, they should do a lot better than the spearmen. Looks like Valkyrie's starting to mix in some skirmishers here to counter the archers. So see, both AIs have some countering going on. That's good to see. Got Town Watch coming for the general, and Valkyrie's now up to the castle age. So Valkyrie still has the military numbers lead. I'm not seeing any pikemen or elite skirmisher upgrades coming. I think that might be important to prioritize. Yeah, so if you just look at the KD, the general's doing so much better than Valkyrie. I wonder how many of those 14 units that general has lost are actually villagers, and how many of them are just archers. Alright, Valkyrie's got pikemen now, but not enough skirmishers to counter the crossbows. And now it's neck and neck with the military. So I am curious. I'm gonna check the general strategy here. Okay. So general's doing a 2 TC boom. And let's check at Valkyrie here. He's got 2 TCs. Yep, so both AIs are going neck and neck. Valkyrie's mixing in some knights. But the general is getting ahead on military numbers. I think that just comes down to being the defender, and Valkyrie just has this retreating, going back and forth, and not a lot of engaging. And it's causing a lot of idle time for his soldiers. Alright, we got pikemen coming for the general, probably to counter those knights. Let's see, we got... So it looks like the general's switching to knights and spearmen now. Let's see if that works. Okay, we got some pikes here. I'm a little concerned the general might, with a switch, have abandoned some military numbers here. Got crossbows alive, but I'm not seeing a whole bunch of knights or pikemen on the field. We got a castle here from Valkyrie, and a Maginot coming as well. So we got a castle coming from General as well, but not able to get the villagers out to start making it. And we'll see, this might be a doubt castle. Yeah, but those villagers are gonna die. Yeah, so let's see, what's the strategy that General's using right now? So still on Pike and Knight. There we go. I think it's nice we're trying to take down those rams. Alright, let's see if they finally get this castle going up. Nope. Meanwhile, Valkyrie's got a TC. That's pretty aggressive for a TC. Went up right in the middle of the map, but Valkyrie is being able to take that map control here, and that's not very good for the General. And Valkyrie's going ahead and score. I think that it comes down to military numbers. I wonder if that's due to just so many villagers being idle because of all the attacks. It also probably comes down to these resource imbalances. Look at all that food. And so Valkyrie's down to the main TC for the General. Got to take him down here. And Valkyrie's up to the Imperial Age. See the Cavalier, Capped Ram. Yeah, so it looks like General's being on the way down here. Another forward castle from Valkyrie. That TC is not going to be, it's not a good spot for the TC at all. Yeah, so let's see how the resign rules work for the General, if they work at all. Thing I want to test here. Yeah, so it looks pretty clear that the resign rules aren't working, so I'm gonna end the game here. GG to Valkyrie. Let's go through the scores here. The General had the KD up pretty high at the beginning of the game, but couldn't hold it. And there you go. That's game 1. Let's move on to game 2, which is going to be the 2v2. Give the win to Valkyrie, and next game. Alright, I think everything is all set. Let's watch the 2v2 on the Mongolia. Alright, General has Aztecs and Britons. Valkyrie has Teutons and Goths. Let's look at the starting positions here. So it looks like General here is Aztecs is going to be facing off against the Goths. The Goth player has some gold in pretty vulnerable spot if blue can get here and rob the gold. But let's see. I'm I'm not sure if that's red's gold or if that's yellow's. So yellow might be in a rough spot if blue gets the upper hand, but knowing General is a fast castle AI, so might want to look at blue's resource position here. Looks like the main gold is off to the side, which is always good. We got smaller gold forward. And I got a small gold in the back, so not bad for the position. And fairly open for avenues to find a way into the town. And then looking here at the Tudens player, got the main gold off to the side, kind of like blue. And then got, so I think that's just that's nobody's gold. That's an extra gold. So that gold is safe. Yeah, so not bad for red. And then green's probably going to be attacked first instead of red. And green's got that pretty far forward gold, and the main gold's kind of far forward as well. So not the best position for green, but it's got some good choke points. We'll see how that plays out. So just looking at the villager numbers, it looks like the general is getting ahead on villagers. I'm not sure what happened with red. I fell behind on some villager production. So let me chat the strategy, see what the general AIs are going for. Alright, so it looks like the Aztecs are going to go for an Eagle Warriors rush, and then we'll see the Britons go for crossbows, as you'd expect. The crossbow strategy is new for the general. Curious to see how it plays out. I also noticed that green and red are a lot closer than blue and yellow. And I'm curious, I'm going to turn off the exploration here and see who's found who so far. So red has found green. That'll be important for Valkyrie. Let's check out green. He's still only exploring his own town. And then yellow has found blue. So Valkyrie's ahead with the exploration. And move back to blue here. Alright, generals are both up to the feudal age. Valkyrie's been there for a while for both players. And as expected, they're both going for skirmishers. And alright, so it has looked like green has detected that red is going for skirmishers, or detected that yellow's gone for skirmishers, not sure which. Let's switch to green. Alright, so it looks like green did explore red, so that'll be helpful. And then blue, let's see how blue does. So I think blue should defend with some Eagle Warriors in Feudal Age, because this is the Wello Kingdoms version, and those are available in the Feudal Age just like it is in DE. Yep, so we got some Eagle Warriors defense, and Valkyrie's trying to get some Man-at-Arms, but never completed the Man-at-Arms upgrade. That's sort of embarrassing there. So these Eagle Warriors are going to clean up those skirmishers pretty fast. And then green's already in Castle Age, has the crossbows and the skirmishers. Red's ahead on numbers, but KD is pretty even between the two sides. But green's got a nicely placed tower here. I think that range advantage is playing into green right here. Alright, blue's researching Eagle Warrior, and I expect that blue's attack will start soon. So I'd say that red's initial attack didn't do too much against green. And I'm curious, I'm going to turn off Marco Polo again to see. So blue, well, that's green. If you look at blue, blue has not found yellow yet, so we might see some double teaming going on where both blue and green attack red. And This could be troubling. Green has not maintained the military numbers, garrisoning them in the archer range here. And I expect that Green was trying to escrow, save up for some upgrades. So Yellow's got man-at-arms now, and Blue's definitely got some Eagle Warrior numbers that are attacking Red here. So that'll help out Green quite a lot, I'd say, but is Yellow going to be able to do enough damage at Blue's base is the question. So Red's coming back to defend. And those skirmishers going back to defend are not going to help out at all. Those Blue Eagle Warriors are going to clean up. Interesting, Blue has switched into crossbows, maybe to counter the men-at-arms. That's my guess. Yeah, so hasn't switched strategies yet here. Switching back to Green. Green has Elite Skirmisher, so maybe that's why maybe Green was saving up for Elite Skirmisher's upgrade, and that's why he fell behind on military. But Green is looking pretty good here, and especially Blue. Just looking at the military numbers, Blue is ahead of everyone else. Blue's on 2 TCs. And Green is probably still on 1. I'm looking here, no, Green's down to 2, actually 3 TCs. So let's check out Blue here. So we've got crossbows against skirmishers. I'd say the skirmishers are cost effective, but the crossbows are probably going to win at the end. But Yellow does have Elite Skirmisher coming up right now. I'm curious to see if Blue will switch back into going primarily into Eagle Warriors. Meanwhile, Green is still struggling on military numbers. Let's see, so Green is going only for skirmishers. Blue is going for a mix of eagles and crossbows. So we have something similar to last game where the Valkyrie team is ahead on military and the general team is doing better on defense and getting ahead on villagers. I'd say that in general, the general is doing better than in the last game, but still struggling to get a military advantage here. But if Green can get this castle up, that'll be a big win. But it's going to be difficult, I think. These skirmishers are not going to cut it for Green with all those knights. Alright, so we've got a castle going up in Green here, which is going to be a safer location. I think it'll go up. Meanwhile, Blue has a castle of his own. We got pikemen here from Blue to counter the knights. So we got Eagle Warriors and pikemen. I'm curious if Yellow will research longswords. Those could be pretty effective against Blue. So it's still the same situation. The Red especially is ahead on military. The general players are ahead on villagers, but still behind on military here. So it seems like I might need to tweak on how well General is able to defend and maybe prioritize the military a bit more here. So we got Blues going up to the Imperial Age. Looks like that's the first I had to do so, and also getting Caravan. So we might be seeing some trade going on between the two players. Got Siege Workshop. Was going to go up, but not anymore. We got Longswords from Yellow. Another thing I'm thinking is that both of the general players might be countering the enemy too much, or in this case, I expect that green might wonder if, yeah, green is, looking back to the chat history here, so green's going crossbow skirm still and not able to, the knight and late skirmisher is going to counter that pretty well. So I think the countering rules need work for the general. One, it might be too sensitive of when switching. The general decides to switch to different counter units, and also just not able to counter specific military combinations. I think the general is just trying to counter skirmishers, and that's about it. So we got some trade going on here with blue, I think. No, we just got blue deciding he wants to steal green's resources. That's funny. We got elite eagles from blue. That should be a good sign, and blue's also mixing in some jackal warriors, which against Goth should be an excellent choice. We got a Trebs coming, taking down yellow's castle. Meanwhile, red is in Imperial Age. Green's about to get there, and same as yellow. So let's compare the sides here. Surprisingly, red is actually quite low on military. Maybe red had to start training military to get up to Imperial Age, and that is going to give green a break here. Green needs to get some better siege before engaging, though. A single ram and a single mangonel is not going to do much. And green needs to mix in some pikemen. Meanwhile, blue, I think, is still attacking, although his numbers are pretty scattered here. Better if blue gathered all of his military together. Now that's for me to fix. So we got trading going on between all the players. Blue has the most trade going on. Alright, so green has mixed in some pikemen. That's good to see. But green needs to get some arbalists going. I wonder if green is trying to switch into longbows. Let's see here. Yeah, so green is still sticking with pike and crossbow. Looking forward to seeing green trying to get some pikes going here. Meanwhile, blue's got Arbalest and Elite Eagle Warrior. And yellow is clearly struggling here. He's got almost more trade units than villagers. And blue is just stealing everything from green. And if red wanted to, he could disrupt this trade line really easily. So let's see what these paladins do from red. We got some very aggressive trebuchets targeting this castle here. Took the castle down, but let's see if those trebs go down or not. Something that some AIs do pretty well is defending their own trebuchets, guarding them with their units. The general doesn't do that yet. Something that will be added pretty soon, I hope. So this is clearly a game where the general got the upper hand. Perhaps because it's using strategies that favor both civs. The Aztecs have a pretty good Eagle Warrior rush, and the Britons, of course, have a good crossbow rush. Where the Khmer, the Night Rush is fine, but not truly geared to their civilization. Maybe it'd be fun to see the Khmer try a Battle Elephant Rush. Alright, so GG, the general won that 2v2. Here's the scores going on. let's update the scores here. Give a point to the general. I'm happy to see that. Yeah, for anyone who joining in, if you're not familiar with the AI ladder, this is where we run some matches where the AIs play against each other. And we keep track of the results here in the AI ladder. Switch over to the AI ladder here. So you can see the standings here. We got Meyer on the top, followed by Promi. And the general is currently in 3rd place. So that gives a good overview, but now let's get back to the matches. So the next match, we did the 1v1 first, then the 2v2, and we got the 3v3 coming up. Alright, and here we go. Oh, we gotta change the map size. And here we go. Alright, so let's take a look at the civilizations. We got, for the general, we've got the Japanese in green, the Portuguese in teal, and we got the pocket as the Chinese, which should be pretty good as pocket. I'm curious to see, let's see what the civilizations are, the strategies are loaded. So we got blue is going to go for knights, the Portuguese will go for knights as well, and the green will go for crossbow rush. Meanwhile, we got Malians pocket for Valkyrie. We got a flank, and then we got a Koreans flank, and then a Teuton's pocket. I like the Teuton's pocket. That'll go pretty well for Valkyrie, who likes to go for Paladins' pocket, as you'd expect. The Koreans, especially with Wello Kingdoms, can be pretty weak as flank, but we'll see how it goes. Probably helps that green is actually very far away from yellow, so that might give yellow some advantage here. Woohoo! Yeah, this is the Go General. I agree. Yes, General should win, absolutely. I'm kind of curious to see how the new strats work out here. I think the crossbow rush is actually pretty decent. If you're familiar with Strongbow or the Rage AI, it's pretty similar to that strategy. This aggressive crossbow rush and Castle Age. I'm kind of curious to see how the pocket strategy does. It can be pretty passive, but of course, if it gets to Imperial Age and the flanks aren't hit too bad, they can work out pretty well. So besides the Teutons, I don't think that either of the other civs favor Valkyrie very well. Just because Valkyrie goes for skirmishers, and the Malians and Koreans aren't all that great with skirmishers. They're fine, certainly better than Turks, for example. Looking at resource positions, teal is very close to red and has some exposed gold. I'm kind of curious to see if teal will go for this gold instead. And the other gold is right here, so that's just pretty unlucky for teal. It's almost unknown if that's teal's gold or if that's red's gold. Meanwhile, red's got a nice position here backwards in the back of the town. Green also has an exposed gold there, and green did decide to go for this more protected gold, which I think will work out. I like that decision. Went for some back lumber camps here as well. And teal sort of did the same. Maybe I think teal decided that these two forests are too close together, so he decided to diversify his wood a bit more and place a lumber camp here. Alright, so the general. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a mill bug. I need to fix that. One of the mills is supposed to be for deer. but I need to fix so it actually places it next to deer. But anyway, so we got a defensive tower here for green, and okay, that tower's, if it can go up, will work out well for teal. It's like a good spot, especially with the fact that it chose to take the gold there. Alright, yep, so we got the tower doing some defensive work here. I'm perfectly fine if those skirmishers attack the tower. Not upset at all. Alright, so we got skirmishers coming from yellow, and they're going to meet this tower, and the green's got some defensive skirmishers, which should work out well. Detected Valkyrie's strategy. And let's just check in on blue. Blue might have been pretty slow. I'd have to check the recording. This seems pretty slow to me. So it looks like the pocket might not do so well. And oh, look at that. So we got some knights here from teal. The skirmishers were defeated. It looks like those skirmishers are retreating away. So let's see what is green doing here. Okay, so we got green did decide to take a long time in feudal defending, but he's going up to Castle Age now. So let's see, blue's got 2 TCs so far. I got a 3rd TC going down, so the boom's sort of working, but all of the blue is actually behind on villagers than the red flank player, so that's not the best for blue's boom here. I think I need to work on the boom strategy. All right, here we go. That's a lot of skirmishers at the TC. This is something that you've seen from a lot of general players before: knights attacking lumber camps. All right, we got an attack here from green with some patrol formation. I like it. Those are not very smart. Oh well. I'm not sure why that's going like that. Oh well. Alright, so we got some defense from the pocket player from Valkyrie here, so that's actually pretty good. So green might have to mix in some pikes, which it probably won't do, knowing how the general will only try to counter one player at a time. Probably needs to be a bit more flexible going forward, but always things to improve on with an AI. Meanwhile, the fact that purple's knights are in yellow's town means that red is completely undefended. Besides its own skirmishers, of course. And just looking at the KD from teal, I'd say that teal's doing a better job here, but looks like teal might be trying to retreat. Just maybe, I think teal just got too few military numbers. And teal is switching to crossbows. So maybe over-detecting the spearman counter. I think I need to fix that. That's not a good choice for teal. Alright, so let's see here. So now that purple is retargeted against teal, this allows green to get an advantage against yellow perhaps. Let's see if that actually happens. We got a 3rd TC going up for green. And this TC is gonna not do anything. So yeah, it looks like teal, I think, must have lost a lot of villagers trying to build a TC here, and it's not going great. So we got a more defensible location for teal's TC here. I like to see that. But just so many villagers dying from teal. And it looks like purple's retargeting against blue. Blue has some defensive knights here. And also some crossbows. Curious to see that. Alright, so blue's going up to Imperial later than purple is actually. So let's see, comparing green and yellow. Green's definitely ahead on villagers. But yellow does have the military advantage. And green is being able to recover a bit here. Get some villagers going, but definitely still pretty low on military. Kind of curious to see here. Looking at blue's military numbers, they're kind of low, so blue's kind of struggling as well. Blue might need to train some pikemen. It looks like blue's going to go straight for cavalier, which I think that's not a bad choice. That should be able to counter the knights just fine. The pockets kind of need to go for their power unit anyway. Alright, so green's got a castle. I like to see that. That should work pretty well. As long as it doesn't become a knocked out castle. And because of that mangonel, I think that castle might go up. Alright, you got a castle coming from blue. That should also be good. It's actually the third castle. So I'm kind of curious to see here. So we got Cavalier. And also got a lot of Arbalists here from blue. Let's see what the current strats are right now. So we got blue still going for Cavalier. And then green and teal are still going for their same strategies as they were in the early part of the game. So we got a good fight here with Cavalier. Looks like blue's actually able to fend off purple here. Although I'm kind of curious to see, okay, we got late Shuganu coming. I think blue's going to attempt to do a tech switch here. I think that might be there early. I actually don't know. Because blue hasn't really done a lot of damage with the Cavalier yet. But we got Shuganu coming, and blue has the castles to make it happen. Meanwhile, looking at teal, the knights are a good choice against the skirmishers, but the repeating pattern is that teal just doesn't have a lot of military to defend himself. But teal was able to boom up and get over 100 villagers, so that's a good thing to see. Strong castle defense here from green. We've got some rams from yellow, but in order to crack this defense, yellow needs some trebuchets instead. And unfortunately, it looks like blue's chosen a bad trade route here with teal. So a lot of those trade cards are going down, unfortunately. So I think the question here is if purple's paladins will be able to do enough damage here to teal, and then kind of be able to cause enough damage, just kind of snowball. Yeah, it looks like that's not a good market placement. I think General's market placement is bugged here. Yeah, that's not a bad idea for blue to go heavy camel, especially against the paladins in his pocket. But we'll see how the Shuganu do here. If blue can get enough of them, I'm kind of curious to see how they do. But it does look like the General's army is going to be pretty range units heavy for a while. Arbalists from green and Shuganu from blue. So a lot of skirmishers could counter this pretty hard. Yeah, so here's the test. How do Elite Chickadee do against Paladin? Got every advantage here with this cliff, and aha! I love that castle placement. That's awesome. But those Paladin are strong. You know, to kill off those Paladins, but I want to see blue attack here pretty soon. We got 2-7 military. Meanwhile, green is being able to cause some damage here against yellow. Got a castle taken down. But yeah, I'm thinking that definitely the heavy camel would have been a better choice here. Just not able to stop purple's push. So I'm kind of curious to see why blue isn't attacking. He has enough numbers to attack. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm just troubleshooting an AI as I'm streaming. Very professional. Yeah, so it looks like blue isn't attacking because he doesn't have all of the attacks he thinks he needs to before he can attack. So he needs to get the ring archer armor. I'm guessing is what blue is waiting for. And that must be a bug because he definitely has enough resources to research ring archer armor. So we'll see if green can carry the day. I'm hoping on you, green. But Valkyrie has taken over the score lead. Yellow has tried to rebuild going into the back. So we'll see how fast green can make it over. In the meantime, we'll see how long blue can defend. Teal is overrun, and blue doesn't have any halberdier heavy camel. So unless green can do a lot here, I think tide's turning against the general. So something I am curious to see. I'm going to switch to green's point of view. And how many of those town centers does green see? Yeah, so it sees 2 of them. So something to improve on for the future is to just improve the targeting of town centers. That would cause a lot of damage here, I'd say. But blue's holding on, still got 3 castles. Has a really good KD, but military numbers are slowly diminishing. And it just feels like blue is slowly losing ground. And I wonder if green has decided to switch into the trash composition here. No, still going for Arbalest, but maybe he doesn't have enough gold to maintain them. Or is trying to counter the enemy. Not sure exactly. Yeah, so what Valkyrie needs to do here is get some trebuchets. I think if there are some trebuchets, Valkyrie would have a much better time taking out these castles. But it looks like they're going to go down anyway. looks like green has decided to go defensive. I wonder if green is retargeted against purple. Yep, green has decided he wants to target purple instead, but he's decided that he's not strong enough to take purple on. So he's going to play passive now. Yep, yeah, scripting is all about decision making. Sometimes you try to be too intelligent and it can actually backfire if you don't be intelligently. Sometimes it's kind of brute force if you have these soldiers attack. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, so it looks like Valkyrie's team has decided that blue is dead, rightfully so, and it's going to try and take on green. So it's only a matter of time here. That's interesting. Blue is attacking into champions. Trying to boom back up here. But it's probably not going to help out too much. Blue, I think, is trying to attack yellow. That's funny. No, blue is trying to attack red for some reason. Anyway, once blue gets down below 40 or so pop, I'll call the game here. It's definitely looking like the General's design rolls are bugged at the moment. Yeah, it's time to call it. Alright, GG. Valkyrie gets another win here. Alright, now we move on to the 4v4. And here we go. Alright, interesting. So we've got... Let's look at the civs here. For a general, we've got Gray as the Japanese, who I'm guessing is going to go for crossbows again. Then we got the Indians in green. Should also go for crossbows because no knights available. Then we've got Ethiopians and Spanish as pocket. Spanish I like. Ethiopians are okay. I'd rather them as flank because they have the good crossbows. And then for Valkyrie, we've got the Saracens as one flank. The purple is Malians as the other. Fair enough. And then yellow, we've got Mayans. And then Magyars. Magyars are probably the stronger pocket, but we'll see if the Mayans, what they go for. I'm guessing go straight to Elite Eagles, but who knows. So I think again we'll probably see blue and teal go for a passive boom because that's what's currently scripted. But let's look at the resources here. We've got a back gold here for gray, so that's good. Yeah, got a lot of choke points here that could be helpful. We've got this little forward gold mine, and green hasn't found all those sheep. This other gold is somewhat vulnerable, so I'm pretty sure that gray will go for this one. Meanwhile, green, is trying to lure the deer and not doing a great job at it. I'm not sure what's going on with the boar lure here. Hopefully it gets killed next to the mill, or I forgot a villager dead. Yep, failed boar lure. All right, and then green's got some forward gold. Yeah, not great for green's gold. Any back gold available? And no, it doesn't look like it. And not the best lumber camp position either. But this lumber camp is decent. I'm kind of curious to see if General will try and hunt. Okay. See if the General would try to hunt the deer as they pass by the mill. Alright, so we got players going up to the feudal age now. And green is delayed because of the villager killed by the boar. And so let's see here. So we're going to get some skirmishers coming from Valkyrie. And I'm kind of curious to see. Okay, we got a tower placement going up here. That's a good placement, I'd say. The other possible position is here by the gold, but this is where the villagers are gathering at the moment. Makes sense. Green, that's a weak tower placement. It's not going to defend those gold miners very well. And let's see what happens. I think those villagers are going to retreat to their tower. We'll see if green decides to migrate to one of these gold mines. Meanwhile, looks like the Saracens, the red player, is going to be a bit later than purple. And gray's already got some archers waiting. I'm going to switch into skirmishers here to defend. So I expect that the Japanese will do well, and the Indians not so much. Got some skirmishers defending though, so that's good. But green is just so outnumbered. So just a house. Yep, a house there. So we got some villagers migrating over here. Are they gonna? Okay, those are just gathering stone. So we'll see how many villagers this tower kills off. That's a lot of villagers not gathering gold. And looking, what are green's resources here? Yeah, so green's using all the resources trying to defend. Perhaps an over-aggressive reaction, I'm not sure. The best choice is to try and defend, or just try to go straight up to Castle Age. But right here has got elite skirm and crossbow, so that's gonna, as I predicted, this defense is gonna go pretty well. Got a second TC going up for gray. And we'll see if those spears get killed off quickly here. And so green is still not migrating to the gold, so that's gonna cause a problem. I'm curious, it looks like green stopped his soldier protection and is forced to garrison him inside the archer ranges. Alright, so it looks like the Mayans' pocket went for an aggressive Eagle Warrior rush instead. And that's not going to help out too. That's these crossbows and skirmishers are not going to do much against those eagles. And those mangonels could be vulnerable here. Let's see how long they stand. If it wasn't for this TC scaring the eagles away, I think those mangonels would have been taken down. But we got looks like an attack here from blue. that's welcome to see. So many villagers get taken out here. Also got a stray skirmisher here that are attacking as well. Alright, here we go. So we got, looks like Gray is trying to attack here. Let's see this rush in action. Yeah, so looks like Gray's not really committing to the attack here. Keeps on retreating and going back. And those mangonels went down, which is a pretty big loss. Meanwhile, Green is suffering. Just down to about 10 villagers left. Meanwhile, we've got Blue and Teal. Teal is going up to Imperial Age, so that's good. And Blue is a bit more delayed because he did that rush. And maybe because he's trying to defend here against Orange. Alright, Castle's doing a good defense, scaring those units away. Now, Gray's back on the defensive again. So we got a Castle going up here. If it goes up, that could be pretty good for Gray. Got another mangonel coming. Now that castle's discovered. Let's see if it goes up. Looking pretty dicey here. Those skirmishers started attacking the villagers. I think it would have stopped, but this castle's going up. There we go. Alright, so we got a second castle coming from Blue. Blue's going up to the Imperial Age. Meanwhile, Yellow is also to Imperial, and looks like Yellow's trying to get... It's only on the normal Eagle Warrior right now. He's getting the elite Eagle Warrior right now. What's Teal doing? Okay, we got Cavalier, and those Cavaliers are nicely attacking the red player. And doing some good damage, I think, all the way to the main TC. Yeah, looks like red's gonna be taken out here. Meanwhile, it looks like the green is back for a moment anyway. Back to about 30 villagers. Alright, so we've got Elite Eagle Warriors against Cavalier. If I remember right, the Ethiopians will try and stick with Cavalier as pocket. So hopefully Gray can come in here with some ranged units and help Teal out. So we got red was taken out, so that's good to see. So now it's basically a 3v3 at this point, with green being taken out. So let's see if blue can get up to Paladin here. Blue's being pretty passive. Let me just confirm that blue's going for Paladin. Yep, so we got Cavaliers coming. We got a forward castle. No, this is not just a defensive castle, but Orange is trying to target Teal. And Orange does have some pikemen; those could help out against Teal. And then we got Gray here trying to fend off against these Elite Eagle Warriors. Yeah, so if General's going to get any momentum. Blue's got to do some damage here. All right, so we got blue targeting purple. And I think this attack could do some damage here. Let's compare pop. So gray is the equivalent. So got about 120 villagers. Seems to be doing okay, at least holding the line against yellow. And I'm curious why. Okay, we got Arbalest finally for gray. Not the best choice against Eagle Warriors. Let's see what's... Yeah, so gray's still going for archers and skirmishers. But meanwhile, blue is here, doing some good job with the Cavalier. Strange that blue's hasn't gone for Paladin yet. Maybe just hasn't saved up enough resources yet. Huh, interesting. Green has archers, but no villagers. I'm guessing green doesn't have any food to train anymore. And of course, the general doesn't have any tributing rules yet, so green is kind of stuck here, unfortunately. So we got blue here. We got blue's attacking. Looks like he's targeting orange now, which means that the purple player is correctly taken out, but it's down to mostly the 4 different pocket players here. Gray is technically alive, but struggling. And we got blue trying to defend against all of these paladins. Not able to get up to paladin himself. And teal is also trying to defend. Looks like against yellow instead with all of these rams. So as you can see from the score, it looks like the tide has turned against the general. Bach is just not able to do enough damage here. We got cannons from the Ethiopian's player, but those are just going to die to all those eagles. And so we got yellow. Is putting some pressure on teal, and then we've got orange here targeting blue, although as I say, it looks like orange is actually targeted against teal instead. Another thing I noticed is that the trade route has been disrupted, which might be one of the reasons that Valkyrie has gotten the advantage here. The general doesn't have any good market placement going on. Meanwhile, Valkyrie's market placement isn't great, it's just the default placement, but it's working out fine because the pockets haven't been targeted here. So it's looking like it's going to be 3-1 to Valkyrie Warriors. GG to Valkyrie. So I'll go through the different stats here. Wow, only 2 relics captured from all the players in the game. Yeah, so basically only 2 players left alive at the end of the game. It's a pretty interesting timeline there. So yeah, close game, but Valkyrie Warriors got the victory.